For over 40 years, there was one rule in Australian real estate that everyone considered absolutely untouchable. If you bought a property before September 20, 1985, it was classified as a pre-CGT asset. That meant it was completely 100% exempt from capital gains tax. You could hold it for decades, watch it grow by millions of dollars, pass it down to your kids or sell it. The taxman couldn't touch a single cent. It was the ultimate tax-free holy grail of Australian wealth. But on May 12, 2026, the federal budget quietly did the unthinkable. They didn't just tweak the rule, they killed it. Starting July 1st, 2027, the tax-free status of a pre-1985 properties is officially being stripped away. If your family is holding one of these historic assets, you are currently sitting on a massive ticking time bomb. Let's look at what the government actually changed and how they're going to calculate your new tax bill and the immediate steps you must take to protect your family's inheritance. Key date number 1, September 20, 1985, the original CGT start line. And key date number 2, July 1st, 2027, the new tax trap. For more than 4 decades, successive governments respected that promise. But in the 2026 budget, Treasurer Jim Chalmers just announced that pre-CGT status will be effectively lost on July 1st, 2027. Any capital gains that accrue on these properties after that date will be brought into the tax net. Worse yet, those future gains won't even get the standard 50% CGT discount. They will be taxed under the government's brand new system, cost-based indexation, paired with a brutal 30% minimum floor tax rate on the gain. That's if you hold it in a trust. This only affects like a specific group of long-term owners and families who have inherited generational properties. The financial impact is going to be devastating if you don't prepay. So how will the government calculate the tax on a property you've owned since 1982? They are introducing what is called a hybrid CGT calculation. Let's say your parents bought a house in Sydney or Melbourne back in 1983 for 80 grand, and today this property is worth 2 million. If you sell that property before July 1st, 2027, you pay 0 capital gains tax. But if you hold a property past July 2027, the tax-free clock stops. Any growth in the property's value up to June 30, 2027, it remains exempt. But any growth after July 1st, 2027 will be taxed when you eventually sell. To make this work, you have 2 choices under the budget guidelines. Option number 1, the valuation method. You get a formal, independent property valuation of the asset as of July 1st, 2027. This valuation becomes your new baseline cost. When you eventually sell, you only pay tax on the growth above the 2027 baseline. Option number 2 is the apportionment formula. The government will use a mathematical formula to estimate how much the property grew before and after July 2027 based on your total holding period. But be careful here. Obviously, never rely on the government's apportionment formula. If the market stagnates or drops after 2027 but grows massively before then, the formula could legally assign a fictional gain to your taxed period, leaving you with a massive tax bill that you shouldn't have to pay. If your family holds a pre-1985 property, here's your immediate game plan. This isn't financial advice. Obviously, talk to your accountant, but here's what I would do. First, I would put a calendar reminder in my phone for June 2027. You must book a registered independent property valuer to conduct a formal valuation of the property as close as possible to June 30, 2027. This document will be your shield against the ATO, locking your maximum tax-free value. Second, review your family estate planning. Many parents leave pre-CGT properties to their children in their wills, assuming the kids will receive a tax-free asset. Under these new rules, keeping that property in the family long-term will slowly erode its value through growing tax liabilities. You may need to restructure your estate plan before the 2027 deadline. Third, look at the budget's rollover relief. If these properties are held in an old discretionary trust structure, the government is offering a 3-year window starting July 1st, 2027 to restructure out of these trusts without triggering immediate stamp duty or CGT penalties. Use this window to move the asset into a more tax-efficient environment if possible. The tax rules that built Australia's generational wealth, they're being rewritten in real time, and what worked for your parents is no longer going to work for you. To make sure your family's hard-earned wealth doesn't get wiped out by these sudden policy shifts, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.